and exhibitors from across Africa. This is where connections are made and opportunities are unlocked. Join us in Lusaka, Zambia at the Lusaka Showgrounds main arena from the 22nd to the 24th of April 2026. Whether you're looking to learn, connect, or grow your business, this is where Africa's agricultural future comes together. Be part of it. For more information, call 260-7637-82346 or send us an email info@agricoopnews.com.
And smallholder farmers. So we are in all the 10 provinces of Zambia now, with about 14 branches now. Yes.
Okay. So I'll start with AgleaseCo. As we look towards the future of African farming, what are the practical, scalable solutions that can help us move from potential to productivity, especially for smallholder farmers?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I would say currently we already have all the solutions that we need. Africa, Zambia, we already have the solutions. We have got the financial institutions. We've got the equipment suppliers. We just had, we now have the satellite data intelligence that we need. We've got the input. We've got the market data intelligence that farmers need. We've got the guarantee schemes. We've got everything that farmers need, that agricultural sector need for them to move from potential to actualizing the potential. I feel what we need now, if we are to scale up, is change of mindset, both by the small-scale farmers, by the farmers, emerging farmers, as well as the players. By small scale, I want to say the shift in mindset should move from where you want to depend on free things. Whatever you want to access, you need to know that it comes at a cost, and that they should be ready to change the mindset. Not like, Boma Yanganepo, like we want to look at the government. The first question should be, what can I do in order to move from where I am to the next level? So yes, there is a cost to everything, but I feel every individual, every small-scale farmer, emerging farmer, can have somewhere to start from. We start from very little backgrounds, then we start building to scalable levels, where we now say, okay, I'm now a commercial, fully fledged commercial farmer. So the shift of mindset. On the part of players, that is the policymakers, the financiers themselves, the development partners, I think we should now start to look at coordinating these numerous interventions that are currently available, so that we can make them into systems that are easily accessible, and easily accessible by the small scale and emerging farmers, because currently we have so many interventions out there. But the problem is that all of us seem to be working in isolation. As a result, you find that the growth is actually linear. But should these interventions, should these players work together, the result, the impact will be transformative. So currently what we need is to coordinate all interventions that are currently there. Then we are going to create an impact. We're actually going to, the issue of unlocking African potential will remain an issue of debate as long as we can't coordinate these efforts together. Probably our forefathers could have sat, maybe the way we are doing today, discussing what can we do to unlock Africa. Maybe the question is who locked Africa? The fact that we are discussing this means that we believe, all of us believe that Africa is locked, but the question is who locked it? It could be because of our mindset, because of us not being coordinated. So it starts from the policymakers, the financiers, developing partners, coordinate every intervention that we've had, every intervention that is available. Then we can talk about unlocking this potential into actual a result. So we need now to move from a shift from academics. Every institution you go in Zambia, Africa at large, There are powerful papers that are sitting, gathering dust in the shelves. Yet, if we implemented those, we could be talking about a different thing altogether here. So what we need is to shift from theories, shifting from just talking to actualizing the talk. Then we can say we have, because I don't feel we need any more solutions. We have all of the solutions. What we need is change of mindset and coordinate the efforts, shift from theories to practicality.
Okay. We'll get to Dripking Industry Limited. That's irrigation and water innovation. Water is becoming the defining factor in agriculture. Are African farmers treating irrigation as a necessity yet, or still as a luxury?
Thank you for this question. I think water, this question probably, whom do we ask, will make a difference. Because if you talk about commercial farmers, they cannot survive without water. I mean, irrigation has to be there. Then the production what we are aiming at is possible. Now, if we look at a smallholder farmer, maybe he's relying more on the rain-fed crops. So for him, accessing irrigation might be a luxury. The water might be a luxury part for him. These things may not be very easily available and affordable. So mostly the small-scale farmers, they are scared of getting into mechanization or so many things. So water might be a luxury for them, and that's the reason we see that in rural areas, even today, when we talk about so many irrigation things, so many government is already giving a huge, humongous target for us. We have 10 billion tons of maize production. That's the target we have given. Now for that, if you see, rain-fed is not going to help. So water can't be luxury. It needs to be implemented into irrigation now. So I think we change the way we think, we change the way we ask, and whom to ask the same question. It is necessary that water, yes, without water we cannot survive, and we cannot be doing the crops only rain-fed. We have to have the crops throughout the year to achieve those targets what we are given.
All right, so I'll get to Saro. We have seen increased availability of farm machinery, but adoption is still uneven. Is the challenge awareness, affordability, or relevance to smallholder farmers?
Okay, so we as Saro believe in quality and service. So while awareness is growing, affordability still remains a challenge. Okay, so how do we achieve that as Saro? We've set up strategic financing partnerships like the AgleaseCo that are there to finance smallholder farmers. Then we are also focused on right-sized climate-smart mechanization that is tailored to smallholder farmers. Yes.
Okay. So just with you, how is Saro adapting machinery solutions to suit African farm size and also realities?
So we also do localized production. So we're also into localized manufacturing and assembly of machinery that is able to suit smallholder farmers and the local realities of farmers.
Okay. So we'll get to Dripking again. Drip irrigation is often promoted as a solution. But what are the real barriers preventing mass adoption across Africa?
So as I mentioned, we talk to a lot of farmers every day, and we see that still the awareness is not there. Okay. So awareness in terms of, yes, people would have heard about drip irrigation, but now when we talk to them about, yes, drip irrigation is also possible for orchards, bananas, you can use the drip irrigation. Now that's a surprising thing for them. This is where we see that the awareness is still not there. Drip usage, yes, we have drips available in the market here. But now the thing is, no one talks about the intricacies of what exactly the operations is all about. Now how spacings matter to different crops. Now what has been happening all these years is the people used to use what is available in the market. So maybe a 30 centimeter spacing. Now people would ask, what is 30 centimeter spacing? It is between the plants and between the emitters. So drip tapes have different spacings available. as we are locally manufactured within Zambia, we can have different spacings ranging from 15 up to 100. Or even if someone wants customized spacing, it's available. We can make it for them. These were not very, I mean, people were not educated on that. So drip is available, they buy something from the market, they lay in their farms. And now, just an example, if someone is planting a watermelon, he's still using a 30 centimeter drip, whereas the plant spacing is around 1 meter. Now, the emission still happens between those two plants, which is again encouraging the weeds to grow. He's again utilizing the nutrients for the weeds and all. So now this awareness was not there, and still it is lacking. We are putting a lot of effort, go to the farms, go to different provinces, like almost like 28 we are going to Ndola, we are traveling to Mansa on 1st of May. We are having different programs for farmers where we can train them on the ground, show them exactly what is to be used, what is good for your crops. So these awareness is the biggest part. Secondly, yes, I believe with AgleaseCo already here, so I would not forget to mention their name. Financing is also another part. So not every farmer in Zambia has easily access to finance. So that is where we need to collaborate, and we need to try and understand where we can work together with finance partners. A structured financing option for smallholder farmers majorly is also, we need to work on more. There's a lot of work to do. So I think these two barriers are one of the primary barriers I see in making this a vast usage of drip irrigation in the country.
All right. We'll get to AgleaseCo, and my question is, in African mechanization, often we see that it has often been discussed, but access remains a challenge. So from your experience as AgleaseCo, what should be fixed for farmers to access machinery today?
Again, it goes back to my first point, change of mindset for those that have got monies. So we know already that there are barriers that actually make it impossible for the small scale and emerging farmers in the rural areas to access these finances. So what do we need to do? Remove the barriers, simple as that. But of course, that has to come with some innovations. If you're going to say, we are going to depend on the fact that for one to measure one's intelligence, he has to speak good English, it's not true. For us to measure whether this guy has got the ability to repay the loan or the lease has to be based on a good business proposal, a bankable proposal as it is called. That's not true. Of course, that is not to say these are not important. They are important, quite all right. But we need now to start looking at, we have a mother in the rural area that has never gone to school in her 40, 50 years. Why should we expose this person now to say, hey, can you open a bank account? Can you write a business proposal? Because already you are putting this person in a state of default, because now he's forced to write a business proposal, which he has to hire an expert to do that. And an expert is saying, I need 20% of the total due. Already the guy is in default because 20% is going out of the planned activities. So it makes people in a state of default even before they start. And now we start saying, you see, that's the reason why these guys that are uneducated, I think, are not a good, because we have set them to fail. So what we need now as financial institutions is to become innovative in such a way that we should be able to tap on that infrastructure of farmers that is currently available in terms of small and emerging farmers in the rural areas, and see how we can make use of them. I'll give an example of a mother. Now imagine how mothers communicate to a one-day-old baby, 2 months up to 1 year. This is a baby that does not talk. But a mother is still able to pick information from this. Okay, the child looks like he wants some milk. No, okay, the child is not feeling okay, by observing. So I'll tell you that at AgleaseCo we have innovated a criteria that we are using to capture information for people that do not have a bank account, no track record of financial records or whatsoever. We are still able to capture them and be able to finance, and I will tell you that they've been good payers. So what we've done is we've removed all the barriers. People do not need a bank account, do not need a business proposal, do not need a grantor, they do not need any collateral. So now one would be thinking like, how are you capturing, how are you sure? And remember that these are small-scale farmers and emerging farmers that have never gone to school. So issues of writing and speaking English is not there. So even how you capture the data to say, did you grow maize last year? It has to be in a way that is innovative. And now you're also looking at the other year, how much land did you cultivate, how much did you harvest, how much income did you realize out of it? So we have innovated a system, a criteria that is able to capture that kind of information and still be able to finance those. And that model is working, and I can attest that it's been working since 2018. This is the 9th year we are operating, and the model is fantastic. So the point is, we can remove the barriers, but we need to be innovative in order to capture that group of farmers that are underserved.
Okay. All right, so I'll get to Saro here. What innovations in farming machinery are you most excited about that could transform productivity in Africa?
Okay, so we have created innovations such as solar-powered irrigation systems now, such as pumps that are solar-powered. Then we also have a walking tractor that offers a versatile and low cost for an entry point smallholder farmers.
Okay. All right, thank you. I'll get to Dripking Industry Limited. How can irrigation systems be better integrated with mechanization and data to create a truly climate smart farming system?
This is an interesting question. We had a speaker earlier, Mr. Ahmed was talking about the satellite data. Now imagine you as a farmer, you are moderating here, you have a farm in Chongwei, just an example. Now imagine you're sitting here and you can start the irrigation system right here while you're talking and asking questions to us. Wouldn't be a great idea? Would you like to have a system which you can operate from your phone? I know smartphones, we had a couple of years back, I would have not spoken smartphones, but now our farmers are smart. They have smartphones, they access to social media and all those things, so definitely they can do that. If a simple mechanism which can tell you that no, now the soil is completely dry, this is the time you need to start irrigation. Now it has rained, the moisture is enough, you don't need to start your irrigation. So things like this, if we can have, these are not very complicated softwares, these are not very complicated mechanisms, but if we can have those data to the farmers, if they get the inputs, no, the rains are already there. And we have seen, when we are within Lusaka, we have seen it rains at Saro and it is dry at showgrounds. Yes. So the climate is very different. I mean, the same day, same hour, we are completely dry and sunny this side, and just a few kilometers, it's raining heavily. So it's important that the farmer gets the live updates from his farm, and he can be doing some other things rather than being there invested his whole time. So these mechanizations are necessary, and we are also working on some of those, which will be very affordable and which can also help the farmers a lot. We would need a lot of working with the data companies and how do we integrate these softwares. But these are simple things which can help. Now mechanization also, like the Saro team is already saying that yes, we have solar powered pumps and all these things. Definitely this is also going to help a lot. We don't have to depend on electricity. We have seen past 2 years with the drought what we have suffered. So it's high time we need to rely on things which are more sustainable and long lasting than relying on the traditional rainfall and this. So let's get to those mechanizations and that which can be implemented in part of drip irrigation. Certainly, yes.
Okay. I'll get to AgleaseCo. Leasing models are gaining traction, and are they scalable for small holder farmers?
I would say yes, they are. Number one, as I've said, we remove the barriers. Then that means that we can now start to graduate farmers from the very foundations up to levels where we can now say this particular small scale or emerging farmer is now able to walk into a bank and the bank get a bank loan. Because at this point now, this person has got some financial records. Remember, before we can finance this particular individual, we make them go through what is called the Credit Reference Bureau. So now they are recorded on the Credit Reference Bureau. Those that were afraid now to finance this unbankable person can now have access to, oh, this guy has borrowed before, and is a good, obviously he has got a good rate there. They're able to do that. So that's number one. Number two, we are looking at synergies that actually can help us. Remember, financial institutions are risk averse, which is only fair. You don't want to invest money into an individual and then tomorrow you don't get it back. But now what gives us the motivation to go ahead and finance a person that has got no financial track records of whatsoever? So we've done a bit of innovations in there with collaborating partners. For example, all our equipment suppliers. Any deal that we finance, the farmer has got a choice to choose the equipment and the supplier of her choice from the list that we've signed framework agreements with. Now, in an event that the deal goes bad, okay, the farmer has failed to pay, we repossess the equipment, we resell, and there's a loss. We are saying we share 50-50 with the supplier that supplied that particular equipment. Now, that is an innovation that actually gives us some confidence to go ahead and finance this individual who is actually in the rural area. Say, what happens tomorrow if the deal goes bad? So at least we've got some confidence because the guy has said, okay, no worries, we can share the cost, we can share the loss. That is on the one end. On the other side, we also do, what we have also done is to ensure to come in partnership with insurance companies that can insure the crop during which it is vulnerable to shocks of weather. Should anything bad happen, we've got some payouts that would support us during that period. Remember, we've got an obligation with the regulator. He's looking at our portfolio. If it drops beyond what is acceptable in terms of non-performing loans, we are in trouble. So we need to keep that afloat as well. So how do we manage that? We have now to innovate by way of getting into contact, working in synergy with insurance companies that would come in to support us in that space. Of course, we also now working on products that would do deliberate products that would support the vulnerables in the community. These are women as well as youth-led farming enterprises. And remember, I'm calling them as farming enterprises because we take business as farming as a business. So now, women, one thing we have, during this experience we've had for 9 years now at AgleaseCo, we have seen and we've learned that women are good payers. So if you want to de-risk your portfolio, there must be a way of how to get more women on your portfolio. But to do that, remember that we need now to come up with a product that is going to meet the needs, specific needs of women. And that is our target now that we are actually working on to try and see how do we tailor the same. We only have one product, which is finance leasing. But how do we tailor the same finance leasing? How do we modify it in such a way that it meets the specific needs of women and youth-led farming enterprises? So that is currently what we are doing and trying to include everyone, be it women, men, and youth.
Okay, so I'll still get back to you. What does climate-smart mechanization actually look like on the ground? Is it efficient? Okay, is it also affordable? And also, is there any adaptability?
Yeah, if we are going to talk about climate-smart mechanization, I think it should include both. It has to be efficient, it has to be affordable, but again, it has to do with adaptability to what is happening right now in the agriculture sector. So when you talk about efficiency, we must conserve not only the soil, not only the environment, we must also conserve the people themselves. So conservation agriculture would help in efficiency and in how we carry out our agricultural practices, number one. But again, you see that, for example, you talk about drip irrigation. Drip irrigation is one of the way we would say is efficient, because now instead of you flooding the entire field, where you do not even have, you actually even flooding now the weeds, but now drip will only just go straight where your crop is. So that's efficiency. So at the same time, when we talk about affordability, the reality is that mechanization comes at a cost. The very fact that most of the African countries, we depend on imported agricultural machinery, it means it comes at a cost and we have no control about it. So now how do we make it affordable ourselves when it lands in Africa? That's where now, again, innovations need to come in. Like I've said, the financing part. We finance the small scale and emerging farmers. But now, how do we make it affordable? For example, we can again work into synergy with the other partners. As I said earlier, to say we have got too many interventions around, but uncoordinated. Now, for example, think of a Zambian guy who is looking for a center pivot. And we know that a center pivot is expensive. So how is he going to access it? We've seen for a long time, it has been for the commercial guys. So at AgleaseCo, we have innovated just one idea to say, okay, fine, instead of making the farmer say, how are your cash flows looking like? The same farmer that we've started growing, so this is a returning farmer, so why don't we finance him with a center pivot, but we connect this particular individual now to, say, a seed company that is into seed production. Already, seed production has got a premium price, so the farmer is going to benefit. But now we are saying, instead of the farmer paying us, why don't we go into a tripartite agreement with ourselves, the farmer, and the seed company as an off-taker, so that the farmer should just concentrate on the production. And then the off-taker, when he delivers the crop to the off-taker, to the seed company pays us what is due us for what is due to us for that particular year. We are done. So in that way, we are making the farmer grow from zero up to a level where we can say, okay, now you can work on your own. You can go to any financial institution and say, hey guys, I need a loan. In fact, financial institutions will start looking for that particular individual, say, hey, can we give you a loan? Why? Because they have now seen that the guy is now attractive. And that's what we are doing at AgleaseCo.
All right, thank you. So we'll get to Dripking. What role should the private sector play in making irrigation technologies more accessible beyond just selling products?
So rightly said, private sector has to stop just selling the products to the farmers. They have to start providing solutions. So at Dripking, we believe that we are a solution provider, not just a manufacturer of drips and selling the drips. We are actually a solution provider. So if you are planting a particular crop, we have a solution for you. If you have orchards, we have a solution for you. So what we are doing is not just selling the, if we had to just do that, we would have just manufactured the product, distributed it across the country, and we would have been done. But if you see Dripking, we also intend to open branches, a few branches where we can train the farmers, they can come and access the products. They can see everything under one roof. So like here we are just in the showground opposite where we are sitting now. So that's a retail outlet we have, the first retail outlet we have, where farmers can come with their questions, with their queries. They are not being charged for anything. So if they want to understand the solution, come back after 4 months, very fine. They can do that. So I would urge all the private sector to be more focused on providing solutions rather than just giving out products. That is not going to help our farmers. Now when a farmer goes, when someone is just starting his farm, he would not know exactly what I would need for 1 lima. Let's say 1 lima, 50 by 50. And he just knows that, no, I want to do tomatoes, I want to do maize. But now for that, what exactly is going to need? So when a farmer comes to us, we ask the first question: what is your source of water? People generally misunderstand that. No, with drip irrigation, you will not need too much of water. Just to cite an example to understand, even for the viewers who are watching from far, 1,000 meters of a drip tape with a 30 centimeter spacing. I'm using this 30 again and again. It's a common thing which everyone understands. So this particular drip tape can consume water with 4 LPH. 4 LPH is 4 liters per hour emission from one emitter. It can consume around 13,000 liters of water per hour, which someone would not think about. Now, if I'm talking about one lima, it will need at least 3,000 meters of drip tape. Now, where am I going to get this water from? So that has to be your first plan when you want to start your irrigation. When you want to lay your drips, your water should be enough. So if we don't ask these right questions, what will happen is people will just buy the products, and the farmer, when he goes back to the farm, he'll say, no, this system doesn't work. Now what is going to happen? He'll stop believing in the product itself. So it's better that we ask the right questions. If you don't have a borehole, if you don't have a water source, you wait, you arrange that first. Then you buy these systems. So if that advice or that right advice can be given by the private sector, definitely the farmers will benefit rather than just suffering with the things or the products.
Okay. All right, thank you. So we'll get to Saro, but this question will target all of you here. So we keep talking about synergies. What does real collaboration between mechanization, irrigation, finance, and policy look like in practice and not just in theory?
Okay. For me, I would say collaboration to me means bundled solution delivery through partnerships. Okay, there is need to have a single entry collaborations with our partners. Okay, I'll take for instance like SAF. The government policy allows banks to finance, for example, not only a tractor, but there is a bundled up solution that also includes irrigation in it. Yes.
Can go to Dripking. The same question.
Yes, rightly, I would just want to add up on this. Things are accessible with the finance. SAF, yes, rightly mentioned, one of the easiest option which the farmer can access. There are also CDF loans. There are also banks giving out independent loans on irrigation and all. These are also available. There is AgleaseCo, I should not forget. So these are available, but then right access to the farmers is and awareness to the farmers. Sometimes the farmers is not even aware that yes, we have some facilities available here. So they think that no, I don't have money, this is not the right time, I can't start. But then they have to start with this.
Right.
Yeah, so I think we have heard of this word bundled financial products several times, maybe second day today. Yeah, so if a farmer, say for example, comes to me, it means he does not need now to know where Saro, where my colleague here is. Immediately he gets to me, it means he has access to everything. So when the guy is talking about remembering that a tractor alone is useless if there is no water. Okay, and again, as we've said, water, for you to access it, you need the expensive machines, so you need the financing. But if you need the financing now, you need the policy maker that is going to come in and say, okay, there's a risk in what you are doing, you guys, so how can I come in to de-risk your portfolio? So you can see how these work together at a time. And the farmer does not need to walk into any of these individually. A real collaboration, a real synergies would entail that the farmer just needs to approach one of the guys, and then the same guy would now introduce everything that the farmer needs. In that way, we are able to support. And I can tell you that we have seen working, for example, at AgleaseCo. If a person comes to me, of course, I will not impose on what equipment, on what supplier to pick. I will just say, okay, these are your equipment suppliers. So when the farmer chooses the supplier and the equipment he's looking for, or the other things, just follow. So the farmer doesn't need to know where do I insure the equipment, where do I get weather index insurance. He doesn't need to start going into all that trouble. So real synergies must work seamlessly.
Okay. So still on you, how do we ensure that innovation does not widen inequality between large-scale and smallholder farmers?
Very good. So the first thing is, as I've said earlier, we need to find a way on how we can accommodate the underserved. Once we find a way to accommodate them, then we can now start to grow them. We need to have that platform or that provision as financial institutions, for example, coming from the finance side. We need to have that provision where we are able to pick someone that has got potential and then walk him through and grow that person, groom him, so to say, to a level that he is now able to walk alone. That means once we finance a person with basic mechanization equipment, we can go back to that particular individual and say, now at this level, maybe what you need now is a bigger tractor, for example. We could have started maybe with just a tiller called a walking tractor. And now with time, the person can now graduate to a bigger four-wheeled tractor. And then you can say, okay, now that we've got a tractor, can now you add things like the trailer, the planter, the boom sprayer. Later we can say, can we now finance you with a center pivot? At that level now we feel, okay, this guy can just go to any other financial institution and say, hey, I need a loan. So I think when we get to that level, would say we have succeeded.
Okay. So I'll still pose that same question to Dripking, that how do we ensure that innovation does not widen inequality between large-scale and also smallholder farmers?
So I would say that commercial farmer producing at his own scale, and a small farmer with maybe, say, let's say about 2 hectares, 3 hectares, he can still produce the maximum output from his same field. And for that, he needs to approach and get the right products, right systems, and the right place. So I would say that, yes, I would definitely mention us. We are here, your locally manufactured products are here with the same international quality standards, which you can use in your farm and have the same produce. And try and understand, we also train the farmers that what exactly are you going to make out of your field, what exactly are you going to make the money from your field is, it is going to pay itself for the systems you're going to implement. So mostly they fail to understand sometimes that, no, I'm going to invest a lot in the onion production. Now, investment for a maize or a tomato field of the same size and investment for onion or garlic will be different. It is almost more than double of the investment which you have. But the system is going to pay for itself. When you get your yield, it is going to be paid off. Like some crops we have, like African bird eye chili. Within the first 2 harvests, you're going to already have paid up for the systems you're going to be investing in. So it's only about the first initial steps and the first investment.
Okay. All right, we get to Saro with the same question.
Okay, so for me, I would say partnerships. Partnerships in terms of having access to finance that can be scaled down even to the least farmers, the least group, which includes the women and youths in farming business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll still come to you as we get to a close. What must happen next for Africa to truly unlock its agriculture potential?
Okay. For me, Africa must invest in an inclusive, climate-smart mechanization that is affordable, accessible, and adaptive to our smallholder realities.
Okay. All right, so I can.
A couple of years back, we have seen a worst of a drought. We have seen the situation worsen. People have lost the seeds, people have lost the crops. Standing crops were dry even before the crops were ready. So we have gone through that situation and we have learned, the farmers have also learned now. We need to stop relying, climate change is real. We always talk about this, but then we have actually experienced it here in Zambia. So now it's high time that we need to have a backup plan for everything what we are doing. We are investing in seeds, we are investing in fertilizers. So much of effort the farmers have put, and it was lost that year. So this gives you a good learning that no, we need to have a backup. And I would insist on the irrigation systems as a backup plan for all your planting seasons, and this is going to change the face of how you're farming in Africa. We just not depend on the rainfed crops. We are not just farming in the rainy season, but we are farming throughout the year. Our neighboring country, Zimbabwe, is one of the largest exporter of blueberries. Now, are we too different from Zimbabwe? Are our soils too different? No. It's only the approach. So if we talk about Zambia, we can still achieve what we can even not even dream of. It's only about implementation.
Okay.
One of the African Development Bank president said that agriculture is the African oil, and the next billionaires will come from the farming sector. But for that to be actualized, we need to shift. We need to get rid of the fear of the unknown. We need to start to be practical. Change of mindset. Again, I'm getting back to that word. Only if we shift our mindset, our attitude towards the innovations, our attitude towards everything about agriculture will remain locked. If we are to unlock the African agricultural potential, we need to shift. We need to be practical. In that way, then we'll not be coming back here and say, can we unlock Africa? Otherwise, we'll continue locking it for ourselves.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much. But I'll just allow just 2 or 1 question from the audience. Okay. So someone to help me with the mic and.
Sir, what I have is not a question, but just to confirm, I've had the opportunity to work with AgleaseCo the last 4 years, and certainly they do finance without collateral. The asset they finance you become the collateral, and within 2 weeks they are able to turn around and give you the required capital to mechanize. I've been their customer. I thought I should mention. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Do we have a question? Okay. I think we do not have any question at this point. So thank you so much, gentlemen. And we'll take a quick photo here, and then we can call it a day.